programs, which are BC, mainly going to Vancouver, and Ontario to Toronto. The most sought after, and obviously they have the highest net worth and investment requirements across any provincial nominee program for investors who are seeking to obtain their Canadian permanent residence. What's the difference between these two programs, and what should you consider before applying for either one of these? That's the topic of our discussion today. And as usual, expect nothing else than the exposed truth, just like the rest of our videos. Quick introduction. Who am I? I'm Reza, licensed immigration practitioner here in Canada, working with our office, helping businesses, people, and families move across various borders. Is this what I do for a living nonstop, doing YouTube? Of course not. I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensing, working on actual applications, communicating with immigration departments, both inside the country and overseas, representing our clients on a daily basis and the clients of our B2B partners. Why are we posting this video? These are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our. If you're thinking about immigration, we're here to help. Get a free email assessment by filling out the form down below for eligible applicants only. And of course, if you're an active immigration practitioner, we can assist you with outsourcing your back office operations, including assessments, processing, pre and post landing support. Remember, we are global mobility solution providers, not just an immigration agency. Let's look at the Ontario Provincial Nominee Investor Program and the BC Investor Program. We're not going to cover the eligibility criteria or go through the basics. We're just doing a quick comparison of some of the fine details you should consider before applying. Both of these programs start with a work permit and lead to a final permanent residency while you're working on your business inside the country with your family. Ontario, as you may all know, has several programs. One is called the Success Initiative Program, and one which is outside Greater Toronto in area for investments. And these have lower investment and net worth requirements than the traditional Toronto Investor Provincial Program called the OIMP Entrepreneur Stream. The BC Provincial Nominee Entrepreneur Program has the regular program with the higher investment and the net worth requirements, and the Regional Pilot Program, which is one of the lowest investment programs for provincial programs across Canada, but only specific to communities that are listed and are participating as part of this program. And you can find them on the BC PNP website, such as Vernon, just to name one, for example. The Ontario Provincial Nominee Outside Toronto Region Program has two variations, and there's no list of cities or communities you need to be part of or have an endorsement letter. You pick the place, you've got a business plan, you're good to go, unlike the BC Regional, which is the rural program. Hey, everyone, we're going to get back to our YouTube channel, comments and questions. We're just going a quick comparison of these two programs. Keep in mind that BC also has the Strategic Initiative Stream, which is just for larger corporations and organizations looking to set up a presence in the province of BC and sending multiple key staff over who will eventually work and be nominated for PR. So those are much higher investments and much larger organizations, not for the single entrepreneur. Ontario does not have a program like that. However, if you do have a startup and you don't want to go through the entrepreneur program and you want to send some key people, you can always utilize, of course, as you all know, the intercompany transfer, but better than that, the global talent stream, which allows new startups to also apply and bring in key staff as key executives or highly skilled staff to start or run the business, as long as there's a significant benefit for the province. So you have those alternatives. Let's take a quick look at the advantages of the BC Entrepreneur Program, not the regional pilot program, but the main base program, which is anywhere in BC, including Vancouver. Well, first of all, one of the key advantages is they take your work experience from the last 10 years. So you either need 3 or 4 years of work experience from the last 10 years, depending on whether you are a business owner or senior manager or a combination of both. So that gives you a good timeline. You can be exempt from education requirements if you owned your own business. 100% equity for 3 out of the last 5 years. So if you only have a high school diploma or lower, you could be exempt if you meet that exemption criteria. You can invest anywhere in BC. So that is an advantage of the base program, which is not specific to a community, region, or city. Language requirements are not mandatory at the beginning of the process. So you don't need to submit that with your expression of interest, but you do need it before being nominated later on down the line, okay? Which is 18 months after you've run the business with your work permit and then they're processing your nomination. You do need to submit a CLB4, Canadian Language Benchmark of 4, whether English or French. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen many French-speaking applicants move to BC. Hence the province's name, British Columbia. You can have a co-applicant for your business proposal to apply with you, although each one will be independently scrutinized and has to meet the eligibility criteria. The minimum investment for BC PNP entrepreneur is $200,000, which is lower than the Ontario entrepreneur program in many cases. Interpreters are allowed for the provincial interview. It's always in person. And net worth assets can be in the name of the applicant, maybe you, your spouse or partner, and children. And this is a huge advantage of the BCPNP, because if you've got half of your assets under your name, half under your dependent's name, well, you could potentially be eligible because of this slight regulation difference between BC and Ontario. Here's the disadvantage of the BCPNP program for entrepreneurs compared to the Ontario entrepreneur program. There's a registration fee. Yeah, so that means when you're even submitting your expression of interest, you got to pay $300, which is kind of weird. Like you're not even being, it's kind of like charging you for express entry to create a profile. And you don't even know if you'll be invited. And you got to pay $300. That's fine. You know, they say if somebody has that much money and they're serious, they better pay out. Okay, understood. BCPNP restricts you from residing from beyond a 50-kilometer radius from the place of business you intend to operate or run. Very tricky points matrix. So it's more difficult to claim higher points if you don't have the maximum investments and net worth with the BCPNP. They've broken it down in so many granular levels that it does make it difficult for some people to claim a lot of points there. Rarely inside Vancouver can you be selected with a minimum investment of $200,000 under the BCPNP entrepreneur program. So if you're going to Vancouver and you think, hey, I'm going to invest $200,000 in a coffee shop, it's not going to work. You may have to go to outside in the rural regional areas, or look at increasing your investment, hiring more people, and so forth. There's higher refusal rates. So BCPNP entrepreneur has the highest refusal rate post-interview, not after you have the work permit, but during the interview. A lot of the times people are not prepared, and I've said this many times before. It has the highest post-interview refusal, which is pre-work permit. So that means they don't accept you after the interview. And remember, folks, we're always posting about these key investor programs and other immigration programs for professionals and entrepreneurs. And that if that's what you like, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dive videos. Here are the advantages of the Ontario Provincial Entrepreneur Program for investors. Zero education. That's it. No but, no if, no condition. You don't have high school. You only have high school. You never saw a school. That's fine. You know, it's not directly linked. Successful business people with a direct correlation to education. It actually doesn't exist. So I commend Ontario in recognizing that. No registration fee when you submit the expression of interest compared to BC. So that's good. You just submit expression of interest, although you do need to have a very good business proposal and concept, but you don't need to pay $300 like BC. Priorities in the lower investment. So priority sectors receive lower investment and net worth requirements. So that means for IT, ICT, information telecommunications, IT and communications, you can opt for the lower investment amount, which is $200,000 and $400,000 investment and net worth. No language requirements up front. So only after the nomination, before the nomination, after you run the business for 18 months, you've got the opportunity to get a Canadian language benchmark of 4 for either English or French. You can invest anywhere in Ontario, of course. If, depending on whether you go inside Toronto, you have higher investment thresholds. Sometimes if you're not in the internet, information communication technology industries, but if you go outside of the Greater Toronto area, no matter what industry you're in, you will opt for the lower investment amounts. You can claim bonus points for your expression of interest if you were involved in an export-based business or had 20% growth or more in 2 consecutive years, or you have related work experience in the same industry that you're planning to invest in Canada as part of your business proposal. Interpreters are allowed with the provincial nominee interview, which is great, and a database of businesses for sale by an approved provincial nominee office service providers are ready if that's what you're interested in terms of purchasing an existing business as part of your provincial nominee entrepreneur application in order to obtain your work permit and go for the permanent residency. Here's the disadvantages of the Ontario provincial nominee program for entrepreneurs versus the BC program. Higher investment and net worth for all of the Ontario programs, no matter what, right? The only ones where you can, if you do go, the lowest is 200,000 and 400,000, and that depends on whether you're going outside of the Greater Toronto area or if you're in the information communication technology industry. So if you're doing it just in Toronto and you're not in those specific industries, you are paying up. And if you're going outside GTA, that's fine. But BC PNP, even in Vancouver, technically you're eligible with the minimum investment. The net worth assets for the Ontario PNP has to be under the main applicant's name. No exceptions. You cannot have a common law or spouse or children holding any assets that would be combined with for you to claim your net worth assets. And remember, net worth assets in the Ontario PNP can be 3 different variations. $800,000 if you're investing in Toronto and you're not in the information communication technology industries. Or if you're outside, it could be $400,000. Yes, that's the 2. Sorry, it's not 3, it's 2. There's no rural programs like BC where an investment net worth are significantly lower if you go to designated communities. It's just outside of GTA, you can do 200,000 and 400,000. So 200,000 investment, 400,000 net worth, which is pretty good. It's not as good as the BC regional pilot, which is 100,000 investment minimum and 300,000 net worth. But either way, still okay. If you like Immigration Has creative immigration solutions or key analysis and the raw truth about immigration policies and updates, you can click the subscribe button of our YouTube channel. Don't forget, folks. And of course, keep in mind that if you don't meet any of the provincial entrepreneurs' strict requirements, you've got startup visa, which is a love-hate relationship with so many people. You've got the intercompany transfer. You got the C10 entrepreneur investor programs where you can get a federal work permit. And of course, you've got different variations where you can buy a business and they can sponsor you to come over, whether it's through LMIs and express entries or provincial nominee programs or regional rural programs like the Atlantic Immigration Program or the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot. So remember, there's a lot of options. And besides Canada, of course, there's also more options than just Canada, right? But remember, it's not the only solution going through a provincial program. It's the most secure method for PR, but if in terms of an entrepreneur investor program. But if you don't meet the eligibility, or you think it takes too long, or you may not meet the requirements, or you can't spend all that time inside Canada while you're running the business, then we may look at the other options that are available. If you're thinking about immigrating, whether permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. We just don't offer immigration. We offer solutions. That's the difference. I can guarantee you only one point. You'll know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements, as many of our clients know, are based on payment milestones, which are directly linked to application progression. We don't take 100% advance payment for business immigration clients, and a lot of our clients know that. And sometimes people ask me, hey, how can I trust you? You're 10, 20,000 kilometers away from me. If I deposit this money to you and you'll disappear. Well, A, we've been in business for a long time. 2, you can check our online reputation. 3, you're paying us a deposit. We're not paying the whole thing up front. Plus, we're licensed with the regulatory body in Canada, and our client trust account is insured, and you're paying us directly, not the agent. So these are all things that if that didn't convince you, then maybe we should have a one-on-one face-to-face meeting wherever you are. We have a $1 million liability insurance which protects you and us from fraud or mistakes, as well as a dedicated client trust account, as I mentioned, with the Canadian banks. Our team actually speaks 9 languages, and we've helped people from over 50 countries. And if you think that's just marketing BS, it's not. You can challenge me and send me an email, and I'll tell you what countries we've helped. Click the link below this video and get a free email assignment for eligible applicants only. And remember, folks, we do not help people find jobs, or if you're not in the right category, we may not be able to help you. So that's why we don't want to waste your time either. There's specific programs that we're specialized in: skilled immigration, investors, entrepreneurs, professionals. And that's what we do, whether it's in Canada, US, Portugal, Spain, UK, Caribbean Islands, Dubai, and of course, our recently added country, New Zealand. And we'd like to make sure everyone's aware of that. And of course, I'm the one that makes sure you don't need a lawyer to apply for federal court for judicial review if you refuse, right? If you're ready to apply and want a one-on-one session with me or any of my immigration team members, you can also book a session directly using the consultation link. And of course, if you want to take our immigration knowledge for test drive, before you book a one-on-one, you can come in through our YouTube Live, which we're in now, every Thursday, 11 a.m. North American Eastern Standard Time, which is local time, New York, Miami, Montreal, Kingston, Toronto, Ottawa, and all these places. And that's where you can ask your questions and we'll answer them if we can on the spot. So we are in our YouTube Live right now. Thanks for everyone for joining me. There's a lot of messages. Hey, starting from the very top. So bear with me here. We got Hayat Khan. Hayat, how are you? I love the emojis. Finally, Sosa, good to see you. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I believe you should be close to evening time, finally, Sosa, where you are. AA. So we've got a YouTube audience member today by the name of AA. I'm eligible for an international postgraduate BC PNP stream, as I gave a degree from STEM, or you have a degree from STEM. Can I apply for this stream from a different province? I got a job for 1 year in Toronto. No. The intention to reside in that province or any province when you apply for the provincial nominee program is paramount. It's black and white. There's no exceptions. There's no flexibility, right? So if you're in Toronto and you're applying for BC PNP, it's just not going to work. So don't even bother trying. It's not going to work. So you might as well just go to that province. BC PNP skilled immigration is not the best, but I can gladly confirm Ontario is worse. Okay, unless you're an agricultural worker, greenhouse worker, construction worker, low-skilled trades or professions, Ontario PNP for professionals, very difficult. The only program I like in the Ontario PNP is the master's graduate stream and the PhD stream. AP Kamesh, morning. Hey, AP Kamesh, how are you? Janesh, MK, good morning. Hey, Janesh, nice to see you. Ravneet Kaur, hey, Ravneet is here. Welcome, Ravneet. You've been through some up and down. We need the latest. Safa Salah, hi, Raza, we missed you last week. Hey, Safa. So just to let everyone know, last week I was at an event. I will be traveling in 2 weeks, and I will be doing an overseas tour for Ingwe, going through Middle East and Asia. And if anyone's interested to do one-on-one consultations, of course, they can always book through our office. But unfortunately, this means that in the month of November, we will miss some of the regular YouTube lives, but don't worry, I will come and go here and there, but sometimes I'll be on an airplane or at an event. So heads up for everyone there. Live is okay. Yeah. Fato Yimbu, John Fato. Hi, Reza. Hey, Fato Yimbu. Nice to see you. Ravneet, finally caught you. That's good. Angel, good morning, Reza. Hey, Angel. Nice to see you. Well, you see me. I can't see you. I wish everyone had a little camera, could have had like a video conference. Amy Ude. Hello, Reza. Good to be here. Welcome, Amy. Ask any questions that I can answer. Again, folks, I don't specialize in refugee cases. I don't specialize in humanitarian compassionate grounds. So there's specific areas I may not be able to assist with, but to the best of our ability and knowledge, we will guide you in the right direction in terms of Canadian immigration. Ravneet says, Reza, is there any update about 3-year open work permit program? No, it was funny. I was attending an event yesterday, and I asked a question, and the panel member didn't really answer this, but it was funny because I was saying, well, our clients are getting closed startup visa work permits for 3 years now. Okay, before it was 1 year, now it's 3. And the minister announced, maybe he missed the line, maybe he added the open work permit, that it will be an open work permit, which nobody made sense of. And I even released a video that this is a honey trap, it makes no sense. And then I was saying to the panel member that, hey, maybe they missed the memo about the open work permit. They just saw the memo, hey, we're issuing 3-year work permits. Or is it the reverse? Maybe the minister, like when he was reading it, he just kind of missed the fact that it was a 3-year work permit, not a 3-year open work permit. So to be honest with you folks, yes, they announced it's a 3-year open work permit, but we're just seeing 3-year closed work permits. And it doesn't look like they're really going to do much about that. So let's see. No updated news on that. I have a question, please, as you know. Yes, I know. I, along with 3 other members, have received invitation to pre-arrival services. However, 1 member still hasn't. Okay. The 5th member that hasn't received yet was added 6 months after we all submitted our PR. Okay. However, this sounds like a movie script. However, when IRCC asked me and my team members the business progress report and another forms and documents, like balance certificates, police clearance, all 5 of us received those requests. Okay. And Ravneet continues with the questions, and it says, I would like to mention that we received our file numbers first. Then I uploaded the new letter of support with 5 members, and that was when the 5th member received his file number. 3 months from uploading the new letter, which is good. Why is that? What type of questions they ask? That was AP College. We'll come back to your question. Ravnika, so I want to ask if I should be concerned that the 5th member still hasn't received the invitation to pre-arrival services, or it's just delay as the 5th member was also sent documents. It's a delay, Ravneet. It's not. So when an officer approves a group, they approve it. Right. And remember, the final PR has to be processed, right, before everything is done. But they won't be like, oh, I'm going to approve Ravneet and these 2, and then I'm going to look into that 5th member, right? It just doesn't work that way, because imagine they approve everyone and then they go into the 5th member and they refuse it, and then they're sort of not an essential member, right? So it just doesn't make sense. So it's all approved, but there's always a lag. We have clients who have pre-arrival and even confirmations of PR, and then the rest of the members don't have anything. So imagine one person gets a pre-arrival, they get a PR information confirmation, and then the rest of the members are still like they have nothing. So this is very normal. Startup visa, I like to announce, is the worst managed immigration program in the world. Okay. And you can quote me on that. It is so messy, disorganized, and everything else that it's just crazy. So very good question, Ravneet, but don't worry. As long as you all reach the confirmation of PR, you should be fine. But yeah, there are delays usually, and even if they all applied at the same time, there's still delays sometimes between co-founders, which is very unusual, but not with IRCC. Nothing is unusual. AP Kamesh said, why is that? What type of questions they ask? What are we talking about, AP Kamesh? What kind of questions they ask? Oh, yeah. You're talking about BC PNP entrepreneur. No, they just they grill you in an interview in BC PNP. It's on Robson Street in Vancouver. And they just grill you. So if you've got a business plan that somebody else did with research, and they're going to grill you, well, why are you doing this business? What do you think about this? What are the key factors? And if they feel like you didn't do your homework, somebody did everything for you, you have no clue, they don't like that. And they're a tough bunch in BC. So that's why they have that, the refusals. 3 of us were asked for medicals. So Ravneet is continuing. 3 of us asked for medicals. Mine was done 15 days ago, while 2 others are getting this done tomorrow. So I expect to receive the further response once everyone's medical is submitted and passed. Yeah, correct. So it's ongoing. It's never simultaneously. It's never synced together, Ravneet. Like you're getting pre-settlement, you're getting medical requests, you're getting communication. Other co-founders getting it at the same time, all of them together? No, it just doesn't work that way. Safa Salah, Reza, do you have any update about the required time after getting an acknowledgement of receipt for IRCC to approve, reject a PR of startup? Any new statistics or similar examples you experience? We're seeing 1 year minimum, 1.5 years now. So all the new startups, because they're increasing the quota, they're processing everything really fast now. So if you apply today between 1 year to 1.5 years, you could get a decision that goes towards your PR processing. And the PR processing could take anywhere from weeks if you're inside Canada to months if you're outside of Canada. So Safa, still the same that I've been mentioning, because that's what we've been seeing going forward, right? So in terms of the timeline after they start asking for requests and everything, it could be a few months to many months, depending on how much back and forth you have. The officer, it's very dependent. Hayat Khan, nice to see you. Good morning. Salman Rice says, hello, Reza. I hope you're doing well. Possibility that Canada startup visa cases, which are taking 33 months to finalize, would be impacted if existing political party losses upcoming Canadian elections. So I have a few comments on that, Salman. They're non-political. The 33 months was all the old stuff. Now, because all the files from COVID, that's how much they've taken, like over 30 months, over 33 months. But the new applications are being done literally with, like, they're being opened up in 12 to 16 months, right? And then they're getting processed within, 3 to 6 months later, right? Or 8 months, worst case. So 20 months or 22 months is the max right now that we're seeing for new files. So it's already changed. It's just that there was a huge backlog. The backlog is taking time. But the new applications and everything coming in fresh is being processed quickly. If the government changes, the first year I don't expect any significant changes, but later on, I suspect there will be structural changes to the program, not the processing times. And remember, I've probably told you all this before. If the conservatives come in, they don't like to spend money on, hiring more people and expanding. They want tight budgets, balanced budgets. So they're going to streamline and only take on as many cases as they can with the amount of staff that they have. AA says, but it's mentioned in the guide of BCPM that we can apply for international postgraduate stream from different provinces, but we don't need to job offer for that. We need to show intent. So yeah, so AA, the key is, if you studied in BC, then you went to Toronto and then you applied, like you have a job in Toronto, how are you going to convince them that the intention is to come back to BC? BC is a tough province to convince. Okay, so skilled immigration is fine. Other students, like if you've got the non-international student stream, is fine. Okay, so if it's employer driven, If you're doing the international postgraduate stream, it's not employer driven. So you've got to be kind of based in BC. If you're doing an employer driven one, well, you got to be sponsored by an employer in BC. But if it's a non-employer driven one and you have a job in Toronto, it's not going to fly. You can try it. Let me know if it works, but it's not going to work. AP Kamish, overseas tour, Reza. We need more info on the event. Yeah, AP, we're going to post. I'll be in Dubai. I'll be in Vietnam, in Shanghai. We're going to post about that. We're going to send an email blast. So, if there are any people that you think would want to meet me one-on-one, but again, it's limited availability. Plus, I won't be able to just go. If they would have to do a formal consultation booking through our office and our website. Heat Singh, hello Reza. Hello Heat Singh. Nashwan Ali, hi Reza. Could you explain the current 37-month processing time for the SU VPR applications? Although it is based on the historical data, but it is 18 months until getting the permanent file number. The permanent file number can take 12 to 18 months. The 37 months is the backlog, right? But as I just said, we just discussed this point. So finally, so it's all right, Reza. Hold on. We keep notifications turned on for your live so we don't miss out much. So yeah, we will be very understanding in November, given your hectic schedule. No, it's okay. I'm just not here to be able to conduct the lives, but always happy to come back. Again, I'll be in and out during the month of November, maybe back in December here in Toronto for the Christmas time or the snow time, let's call it. Asafa Habib, please, I want to know about digital nomad visa. Asafa, the digital nomad visa is just a tourist visa according to IRCC. No huge difference. You have to be employed on payroll, having a good salary. They're going to look at your travel history, permission from your employer to move to work remotely, medical insurance. There's a lot of factors in there. Nashwan Ali says 9 months until getting the first communication from IRCC, then 9 months for further communication. Yeah, I mean, Nashwan, it could be from 6 months to 9 months, right? And then after that, it could be 3-4 months or 6 months before you get a pre-settlement letter, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 months later for confirmation of PR. So the timing is not perfect. Plus, if you're inside Canada, it will be much, much faster after the officer starts looking at your file. Because if they approve you, the PR is really quick inside Canada. If you're outside, it will take time. Finally, Sosa, yeah. Safa says, all co-founders received an acknowledgement receipt of PR besides one member. Do you have any idea why? No, there's no reason, Safa. It's just the IRCC. It's very disorganized, never in sync, as I said to other members here right now. Mohammed Moinuddin, I got a TRV stamped for 1 year under the startup visa program. So at the time of landing, I would get a 1 year work permit for 3 year or 3 year work permit. I just mentioned by you. I'm traveling in February. Stamp for 1 year under startup visa. So if you got a work permit approved for 1 year, so in your approval letter, Mohammed, it states how long it's valid for. They issue a visa, you come, you pick it up at the airport, and if it states 1 year, they will issue you a 1 year work permit. Okay, our clients right now are getting 3 years, so I don't know when you applied, maybe previously. Older Ravni, thanks very much, Reza. You cleared my doubts. No problem. Ravi Tangela, hello, Ravi Tangela. Ravni Kaur, just to let you know, I know a group which submitted their PR in March and got approval in just 6 months. No one applied for any work plan, no progress. Yeah, Ravni, it does happen. Like I've discussed in our other sessions, it's like the exceptions, like just a one-off, random. It's not the norm, right? So sometimes they're taking applications from the back of the line, and sometimes you might see very, very quick processing. Heat Singh, how is that possible, Ravneet? It is possible, but it just happens 1 in 1,000 cases, 1 in 500 cases. So it's very random, folks. Don't think this is all by design, okay? Okay, I got some more questions here. So Nashwan Ali, does IRCC request several progress reports, 3 to 4, or is it just once? Sometimes it's just once, and if they're not happy, they'll come in and ask for more. There's no specific rule for that. Ravi Tangela, good morning, Reza. How are you? Permanent file number allotted for all founders and medical examination instructions issued by RCC for SUV. What would be the next step? For all founder medical examination issued. Yeah, so they're going to ask for an update, an IRCC request update about your business plan, all your personal information, financial settlement, Schedule A's, family, police clearance certificate potentially. So all that could be the next step. Well done, Mosume Mekwa. Hi, Reza, I submitted my CWP from outside Canada, and only biometrics and medical exam has been updated to complete, but background and eligibility is still in progress for a month. Is this normal? Yeah, anything with RCC is normal. There's no quality of service. Well done. It's all out there. AP Kamash, we need a fair inside GTA, to be honest. So many people will find it useful. What kind of fair? AP Kamash, tell me. Ravneet, this just happened, he'd sing. Yeah. It's not, so don't think that everyone's going to be processed in 6 months, by the way. I've seen cases where we were in February and October they applied and they got, there's, permanent file numbers and processing and stuff. So it was crazy. It just happens. It's kind of like the lottery. One person wins it, the rest of the people don't. AP Kamesh, also, AP Kamesh. Also, is the first tour you will be doing? No, I've been on Dubai tours before, several times. AP Kamesh, maybe this is my third, but this one's also going to Vietnam and China as well. AA, I don't get a job in BC. I didn't get a job. I intend to come back after 1 year for PhD. In the guide, asks you to show intent to stay. Job is not required. So you are jobless in BC, less in BC for a whole year. Yeah, I mean, as I said, if you're going through the international postgraduate stream, you apply with intention. If you have an admission for the PhD, yeah, maybe it'll work. Having a job in Toronto is not really the best scenario, but you'd have to have a PhD admission that, hey, I'm coming back to do my PhD, and it's in person, for example. If you don't have admission and you say, I'm planning to get my PhD, and you have a job in Toronto and you're based in Toronto, that's an issue. I mean, you could apply and, I don't know. It's a little bit, grayish. You can apply. You just have to convince them that you intend to come back to Vancouver. But remember, BC PNP, do you have immediate family? Do you have a home in Vancouver? Right? They're going to see, what do you have in Vancouver for you to return from Toronto besides a PhD that you're planning to take, right? I mean, do you have a property there? Do you have spouse, brothers, sisters? If yes, sure. If no, you're just kind of playing Russian roulette there. He's saying, Ravneet Kaur, how can I connect you on LinkedIn? This is good. We're doing matchmaking here. I'm not on LinkedIn. IRCC sends request for the business progress report only for the founder. Yeah, so for that, they ask for updated information from everyone, but sometimes I've seen it that they've actually sent 2 people updated business requests as well, or 1 person, as Ravneet says. But everyone has to be ready. That is the key. But they will ask updated requests on the personal information from everyone. And then what else do we have? Salman Rice, dear Reza, thank you very much for your previous response. What is the success probability of SUV cases? Is it in the same, increasing, or declining in recent times? It is increasing, but you still have a lot of refusals because groups are falling apart, eligibility. There's a lot of refusals, but there's a lot of approvals. So we're seeing a little bit of an incline in terms of higher processing numbers, and then a good number of being approved. But again, you're at least going to get 25% refusal. That's That's just the norm. That's just the standard with startup visa. And trust me, you talk to 1 out of 4 groups, they are refused. Ravneet, I'm not on LinkedIn. AP Kamesh, and I got an invite from this startup hub named Next Canada. I know you're in the startup space. Is it worth it to apply? There's a lot, AP Kamesh. I don't know them. There's literally thousands now because the startup visa thing is like big, right? Startup hub, I don't know if they're a nonprofit organization, maybe an incubator. Who knows? I don't know them. Ravneet, true. That's AA, can we apply for a PR if passport is expiring 2026? Yeah, PR is a PR. Has nothing to do. I mean, if you got a couple of years left in your passport, it's fine. Plus, if you're you're doing the BC PNP, yeah, 2026 is a long way to go. If you're applying for your PR now, it has nothing to do with 3 years from now your passport being expiring. Ravi Tangela, retracted message. Ravneet, rare. Yeah, I agree. Mohammed Moinuddin, dear Reza, my work permit was filed in March 2023. That's why. Because the 3-year work permit announcement was done in end of June, Mohammed, or sometime in June or July. I remember I was at the conference, but was it June? Yeah, end of June. So that's why you got the 1-year work permit, not the 3-year. Nancy Pinzon, how are things, Reza? Hey, Nancy, nice to see you. Welcome back to YouTube. AP Kamesh, like a big info session, maybe. AP Kamesh, you set it up, I'll come. I'm telling you, because we're planning to do some events in person next year, but it'll be more B2B or for professionals. But again, you got to do like what info, right? I mean, if somebody else gives us ideas and, there's communities, organizations that we can collaborate with, we'd love to do events. And that's part of our strategy for next year as well, to actually do more in-person events, both inside Canada and outside. Rukaya Isaka, how can I move to Canada through the Francophone Mobility Program? I have a degree in Bachelor's of Arts in French education, and I'm currently in France, but would like to move to Canada. Rukaya, great to hear that you know French. Kudos to you. You just need an employer to issue you an LMI exempt job offer outside of Quebec. If you're doing Quebec, then you have to use the Quebec skilled worker programs. But if it's outside of Quebec, any employer that is operational can issue you a job offer, LMI exempt, no LMIs, no provincial nominee. And as long as it matches your work experience for their business, then you can apply for a work permit from overseas embassies and arrive. And depending on your passport, if you're visa exempt, you can even apply on the border. But you just need an employer to hire you. And there's no immigration paperwork except the work permit. So the employer doesn't do anything except pay the employer compliance fee, which is for all LMI exempt job offers. And that's $230. That's it. And then you apply for your work permit. Salman Reis, hello Reza. Why SUV is more popular than business immigration in the cost factor of success probably that majority moving towards that SUV instead of investing in the real running Canadian businesses? Okay, few points, Salman. Great question. Okay, this is probably one of the best top 10 questions I've heard in any of our lives, like top 10 questions, because everyone asks great questions. Few things. The majority of immigrants want to go either to Ontario or BC. And these have the most difficult and highest investment and net worth requirements for the provincial entrepreneur programs. Okay? That's the first reason. But if you do a startup visa or another program, you don't need a net worth. You don't need to go through a points-based system. You don't need to go through all their difficult selection criteria. Second, people are busy. They want passive investment, like an EB-5 in US, like a golden visa in Europe, like Spain and Portugal, or even Dubai. Or now New Zealand has their tier 1 passive investment program, 3 million US, 5 million New Zealand dollars, right? So people are busy. They want to run business. They don't want to come here for 2 years running a business, hoping they'll get a PR, which could take 3 years, right? So the barriers of entry to come in for these 2 provinces are high, right? And the programs that are easy are like Saskatchewan or Manitoba, but Many people don't want to go to those provinces. So this is why. And the programs are designed in a way, and I just had a consultation with a client who came in, and we didn't handle their file, and they had this business plan to really invest $500,000 in this little town to develop a factory. And it was just so theoretical. I knew that they were going to lose all that money, right? So there's a huge disconnect between those programs and real business people who want to invest. If it was me being recycled out of Canada and had to reapply to immigrate to Canada, I would not be applying for provincial entrepreneur program. I know I shouldn't say that out loud here on live, but that'd be my last choice, you know? So yeah, someone we could have a 2-hour discussion about it. AA, what job seeker validation code for express entry, please? And if you apply for express entry BC PNP international postgraduate stream, we don't need to show work experience and IELTS. I believe IELTS is required. I don't remember AA, so you have to double check that. You don't need work experience for the postgraduate international stream in BC PNP. And express entry validation code is if you have. So generally, besides this program, if you're asking about the express entry validation number, if you have an active express entry profile, so you've actually created your express entry profile, which is free, you get a number. That's the number that BCPMP is asking. AP Kamesh, great. I will take a look into the market and what type of sessions there's demand and get back to you. But from my knowledge, mostly B2B sessions have a lot of demand, just like you said. Yeah, that's the majority of our target, AP Kamesh. B2B, business, whether it's other businesses in our industry or service providers, business owners, businesses, anything to do with business. B2C is not as high demand and a little bit scattered, so we don't do that as much. The B2C is here, technically, right here on YouTube. Mohammed Moinuddin, extensions of work permit is 6 months prior to the work permit issue date at the time of landing in Canada or from the date it was stamped on my passport. So no, the work permit will be picked up at the airport whenever you arrive, Mohammed. Okay, well, whatever port you're arriving, I assume. And that's where the 1 year will be issued for you. Okay, the stamp in your passport, that's just the visa to bring you in to pick up your work permit. So at the date of arrival, you will pick up your work permit. Hopefully, they'll ask you some questions, and then they will. That will be 1 year, and then you can apply for renewal before the expiry date. That's kind of how it works, not the stamp. AA, do we need to secure a postgraduate work permit before applying for a BC PNP international postgraduate student, or we can apply on a study permit? Can we get it from the border? So AA, PGWPs, we don't recommend getting it at the border. 2, you don't need a PGWP for the BC PNP international student postgraduate on international student stream. I'm just trying to remember here. But if you're inside the country, you need valid status, and you should have graduated, right? So let's say you've graduated and you're in the process of the PGWP, that's fine, right? But again, you can't be not graduated and applying for the program. So keep that in mind. Salman Rice, excellent session. It was a great opportunity to communicate with an experienced lawyer like you. Thank you very much. No problem, Salman. I'm not actually a lawyer. I'm a licensed immigration consultant. And just FYI to everyone, we can represent clients up to the IRB, represent clients with IRCC, with Service Canada. Lawyers can actually take it to federal court for judicial review. That's the major difference. And lawyers can practice real estate law, commercial law, family law, criminal law, and sometimes they dabble in immigration law. So make sure whoever you're hiring, they should be in immigration. And this is what I always say to my audience and clients. I say, I'm the one you hire if you don't want to go to a lawyer because you got refused. That's basically the difference between me and a lawyer. Lawyers do a lot of business on refusals as well, or judicial review, court cases. We just make sure you get approved the first time. Ravneet, thank you, Reza. Another great information. Thanks, Ravneet. Hopefully you'll have your PR soon. Abdul Rahman Salat, hey, can you update my medical through web form if any application for work permit is already filed? It's possible. they may see it late, but yes, 100% possible. Amir Milad, is there a timeline for the open work permit, which has been announced in July, but not yet updated in effect? Amir, is there a timeline for the open work permit? Yeah, so they are issuing 3-year closed work permits now for startup visa, Amir, but not open. So, and there's no timeline on when that'll happen. But there's a lot of talk that may have been a mistake. Like maybe they don't want to implement it. Maybe they're having second thoughts. It was maybe somebody mistyped it. Seriously, this is IRCC. Nothing will surprise me. Right now, they're issuing 3-year closed work permits. And I was telling people, hey, did they miss the memo about open, or did somebody mistype the minister's announcement? Right? Because I'm thinking somebody gave a piece of paper to the minister. These are all the things. He memorized it. He announced it. Then on the website, they publish what he announced. So this sounds like a mess. So Amir, don't hold your breath. I filled the form for assessment a week ago, but I didn't hear anything from your team. Please help. Ooh, this is good. A complaint. I like it. Let me check real quick. Rina, Amir Milad completed the PA form. Did you get in touch with him? Yeah, sometimes emails go back and forth and maybe we miss it. So I'm going to get them to work on your case, Amir. Okay. Abdurrahman, Abdurrahman, it's been more than 8 weeks already, no update. Yeah, go through web form. Can we use old police certificate from home country? It depends. If you traveled over back to that country during this time, no. But if you've been in Canada the entire time, yes, potentially yes. And can we apply for a PR for mothers simultaneously? No. Mothers should be sponsored. If you are selected in the lottery-based system and you're eligible permanent resident or Canadian citizen, that meets the income requirement and other eligibility criteria. So you cannot consider your mother as a dependent if you're a temporary resident applying for permanent residency program. Ravneet, thanks, Reza. Good to see you, Ravneet. AP Kamash, I will be panicked next year after applying for PNP, just like other viewers here. No, don't worry, AP Kamash. Don't worry. You're like, Ontario program is pretty straightforward. So, and master's graduate stream, it's fine. AA, do we need a degree or just a transcript to apply for BCPNP? You need the transcript and confirmation, right? The degree takes time, but the confirmation that you've completed it, right? AP plus the transcripts. AP. Anyways, thanks for that. There is rain warning for Toronto, so carry an umbrella. Oh wow, thanks. I don't really watch the weather much, so thanks for the heads up. Nishwan Ali is requesting biometrics for children approaching 14 ages a sign for approval. No, that's not a sign for approval. Thank you so much for answering my question. AA, no problem. I know everyone's case is different, AA, so make sure you do your homework, get it through, and don't take unnecessary risks. Make sure everything is nice and laid out. Documentation is there. Everything is proven. You've got proof. It's not just, hey, I'm saying I have the intention. Here's the proof that my intentions are genuine in the, in terms of the balance of probability. That's what IRCC likes, and PNP. Nashwan Ali, does IRCC request new biometrics for PRs even if someone has a valid one? By mistake, if they have a valid one, unless it's for the PR. So I haven't seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did make that mistake. Nashwan Ali. Okay, folks, 12 p.m. We're back next week as our last live of October on YouTube, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, before our international trip, the tour, going international and trying to connect with as many applicants and B2B partners as possible. So thanks for joining us. It was great seeing everyone. AP Cavendish, AA, thanks for joining. Ravneet, of course, Angel. Angel didn't say much in this session. Amir Milad will connect with you for sure. Abdurrahman Salad and Salman Riaz, and of course, Safa Saleh, Muhammad Moinuddin, Rukaya Isaac, Nancy, of course. Sorry, I may miss a few names. Ravi Tangela, And of course, finally, Sosa, who can forget, and of course, Nashwan Ali. And that's most of you that I remember, and Hayat Khan. Thank you. And of course, a few others as well. Let's just mention them. I know it sounds redundant, but I have to, well done, Musomevekwa. Yeah, well done is there as well. But yeah, I got to make a list next time. Okay. Thanks, folks. Great seeing everyone. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next week. Rukaya Isaka. Rukaya Isaka. Thank you. Appreciate it. See you next week. All the best. Keep safe, keep healthy, and make sure for any immigration program, you do your homework. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.